Welcome back to the show, everybody. Oh, have we got one lined up for you today? Stuart Alderoty from the Ripple legal team is on fire and so much more. And could we see a breakout for XRP? $13, $23? I don't know, but we're going to find out. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook for exclusive content. Right now, it's $964 billion market cap for crypto. A lot of money missing, but let me tell you something. Right now, Bitcoin 18,900, off by 4.06% on the 7-day. Ethereum $1,300, off by more than 10% on the 7-day. XRP is screaming, ladies and gentlemen. 49 cents this morning. We've been over 50 cents, and at 10.85% on the 24-hour and 48.42% on the 7-day. Good morning, everybody. Just a reminder right here, I love working with them and I love being a customer. It's linkto.com, and you can get Ripple private equity. How much longer can you get it for? I'm not sure. No one really knows, but we are entering, as Stuart Alderoty says, the beginning of the end of this case. So if there's going to be any more to be had in the Ripple share department of private equity, it's at linkto.com if you want to find it. And $5,000 minimums, ladies and gentlemen. You got to be accredited, but click that link. Don't mess around. Make sure you leave me some. Look right here, Bob Way. Early Ripple employee there, helped strategize, war room, a lot of stuff with the early crew of Ripple. And really, really smart guy, all around wonderful person. I hope, Bob, your life is amazing right now. I know you've been out of the space for a while, but it's good to see you back here. I have to wonder, are you back? Or is this just, I'm just passing through? I don't know, but I tell you this, either way, we're glad to see you, and I hope everything's going great for you. Look right here. We have so much to look at, but I'm going to move quickly. Here we go, because we got a lot to hear from Stuart Alderoty. He was on fire with CoinDesk, and CoinDesk, is exposed, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to show you that here today. No question about it. XRP Ledger node server. The XRP Ledger, a scalable, sustainable blockchain. Ladies and gentlemen, this is being shown and offered on Amazon Web Services. Shout out to Matthew Linai right there. XRP Ledger is provisioned with all the resources for you to set up, manage your own blockchain node server on the Amazon Web Services cloud. The XRP Ledger is a decentralized cryptographic ledger powered by a network of peer-to-peer servers. This ledger supports an exchange for transacting other assets, decentralized payments. Come on in, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking of come on in, well, you talk about a truth teller dropping bombs. Charles Hoskinson at Mainnet talking to the one and only Ryan Selkis, one of the most arrogant people to walk this planet. Take a listen to this clip.
Do you think that VCs overlook the Cardano ecosystem?
Some do, some don't. It just depends on the location. Is it a family office? Is it certainly A16Z and others are like Cardano. But the problem is that we didn't.
Why do you think that is?
Because we didn't have any Ponzonomics for them.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, let's be honest here. The vast majority of VCs, let's just be honest, the way they approach it is liquidity. So they say, when is the token coming out? Where's the marketplace for the token going to be? Do I get an early distribution? How do I exit that early distribution when the retail people come in? And you've seen numerous layer ones and dApps, we won't name names, where they launch to market at a very high valuation. The insiders dump, they go down, and they walk away with a lot of money. And so there wasn't a lot of Ponzonomics to offer, and it was a fair distribution of Cardano. It has a great Gini coefficient. It's one of the most distributed currencies in terms of distribution. So there was no insider distribution to go and sell. Some of these layer ones, which you guys track on your platform, the insider distribution is greater than 50%. So if you're a VC, you say, oh, wow, if I get involved in this, and I get 10% of the supply, and I could get 100x in 6 months, this is my favorite thing in the whole wide world. they look at Cardano and they say, well, where's that opportunity? We say, well, it doesn't exist. It's an egalitarian distribution. So I got nothing for you.
Charles Hoskinson was already there, but it's somehow we're building a new shelf just a little bit higher. He is an effing legend, ladies and gentlemen. Charles, shout out to you for just telling the truth, telling it the way it is. And you know what? There's a vibration to the truth that just resonates to a certain level that cannot be denied. And I got a great question nobody's asked Ryan Selkis during his time at MainNet. Where's Joseph Lubin? How come he's not there to report on us on how great everything's going with Ethereum and the merge? How come Joseph Lubin's not there? He had such an amazing perspective on this space. He seemed to know exactly what was going to happen around 2018, right before that Hinman speech, almost like a Cassandra, the way he was predicting things. And now we don't even see him. He should have been on your stage so we could ask him about the disguised whales and VCs that took profits into the face of retail. How about that? Let's take a look at this. This is Stuart Alderoty, and boy, does he lay down the facts. This is a long clip. It's 6 minutes, but it is 6 minutes of fire. You need to see every single bit of this. And I tell you, the fact that Brad and Stuart are out here for Ripple, now that summary judgment motions have been filed, they know the truth. They know what's going on. And this right here, I believe, is the campaign trail, baby, because the evidence has been submitted. Now, I know they're going to reply to the motions and of summary judgment and this, that, and the other, but the facts of the case are the facts of the case. Take a listen to this.
And that is not a good thing. To your question, why Ripple? That is a good question. I'm not sure I have a good answer to it. What I will yeah, we are confident. We think this is the beginning of the end of the case in terms of how the case is going to unfold.
Is on the Howey test, and you believe that XRP does not fulfill the 4 prongs of the Howey test. Maybe you can go into that a bit. Sure.
So actually, we roll it back to the 1933 Securities Act, because whether or not the offer and sale of a digital asset needs to be registered as a security, it first has to meet the definition of a security under the statute. And in fact, the Security and Exchange Commission, their authority is limited to the regulation of securities. So we believe that unless there is a contract for an investment, there's no case, and actually there's no authority for the SEC to even weigh in. If they can't establish there's a contract for an investment, you don't even get to the Howey case, and we don't even believe they get to the Howey case. But if you get to the Howey case, and I think most of your viewers know what that is, we believe that they don't satisfy any of the prongs of the Howey case. I think it's a 3-prong test, not a 4-prong test, but we believe that they fail on every single prong of the Howey test. So first I want to agree that I do believe that this policy in the United States of regulation by enforcement is a failed policy, and it's creating havoc in the marketplace, and that havoc in the marketplace ultimately hurts the very retail consumer that the SEC purports to protect. I think what we're seeing is power and politics elevated over sound policy, and that is not a good thing. To your question, why Ripple? That is a good question. I'm not sure I have a good answer to it. What I will tell you is that the lawsuit was filed on December 22nd, 2020, on the last day of the prior administration when Jay Clayton was the chair of the SEC. The day after the lawsuit was filed, Jay Clayton left office, and within 2 weeks of the lawsuit being filed, the entire senior leadership team that was, I think, involved in the decision to file the lawsuit left the SEC. So why Ripple? I'm not really sure. I think we can all venture a bunch of different guesses. Maybe the SEC was tired of playing whack-a-mole with some smaller tokens, and they felt that if they could go after Ripple and indirectly attack the digital asset XRP, which Ripple relies on to facilitate its cross-border payments, Maybe they thought that they can send a broader message to the entire market. But I think what they've learned is that if you challenge a well-resourced company, that well-resourced company can put on a very robust defense and really expose the SEC that what they're doing in this case is not applying the law. It's not a faithful allegiance to the law. They're seeking to remake the law, and they don't have the power to remake the law. Only Congress can remake the law. Could there be digital assets that are packaged and sold as securities? I imagine there could be. To what Gary Gensler says is we don't need any further clarification. Maybe that was true if the SEC under the prior leadership and the SEC under Gary Gensler's leadership was faithfully applying the law. What they're doing here is they're not applying the law, they're seeking to remake the law. The SEC has already been called out by this court by engaging in hypocrisy because they are engaging in litigation behavior to further a desired result rather than a faithful allegiance to the law. So maybe I would agree with Gary Gensler that we don't need any further clarity if he was faithfully applying the law, but he's not. He's twisting the law, or the SEC is. I don't want to make this personal as to Gary Gensler. The SEC is twisting the law. They're using sleight of hand to pretend that common interest can be a common enterprise, that you don't need a contract for an investment to satisfy an investment contract. So if we were to faithfully apply the law, maybe we don't need any more clarity. But over the past 6 years, I'll say, starting with the Clayton administration at the SEC and now continuing into the Gary Gensler administration, there's been so much confusion and havoc wrought by this agency, and I think intentionally, because with that, with confusion comes power. Let me put it this way. If Gary Gensler or the SEC truly believed that they had the power that they suggest they have in speeches and interviews, they would be exercising that power, and they're not.
All right.
And the reason they're not is because they don't have the power under the law, and that's going to be exposed in this case.
Stu, I'm being told you're running out of time, though. Yes or no? Any settlement on the table?
We've said publicly since day one that this case settles if the SEC makes clear that Ripple sales and distributions of XRP and XRP's trading in the secondary market does not constitute a security. If they're willing to acknowledge that, the case settles, and settles very, very quickly. Without that acknowledgement, we have no choice to continue to defend the case, and we're defending the case not only on behalf of Ripple, we're really defending this case on behalf of the entire crypto industry. Because if we're not going to get clarity through regulatory rulemaking, and we're getting deliberate confusion wrought upon the market. If we're not going to get clarity through the legislative process, and there's some good faith efforts to make that work, the only other place where you can get clarity is through the judicial process, the litigation process, and that's where we're going to get it.
Stu, thank you so much.
There you have it. Now let's speak on this. Oh, did he say a lot right there? One, he defines what it would take, again, for Ripple to settle, and it is a non-security designation. Period, full stop, end of story right there. Number two, he brings up the fact that we wouldn't need any more regulations, and agrees with Gary Gensler. If he was faithfully applying the law, we wouldn't need any more clarity because we'd already have it. But he believes they are intentionally doing so to add on top of the point that he's making. I tell you, but what's fascinating even beyond this interview and how on fire Stuart is in this thing is the fact of where he is, ladies and gentlemen. He's on CoinDesk, who has been absolutely mute when it comes to covering this case, and I'm going to show you why. Because they believe, and they still believe, that XRP is in fact a security. I want you to listen to this very unpopular clip right here, where Stuart is grilled over the gifting of XRP, and watch all of the different interviewers while it's happening. Finally, we see CoinDesk has been mute covering this case. Watch as the interviewer tries to corner Stuart about the gifting of XRP. Pay closer attention to all of the other interviewers sitting in and their eyes and facial expressions while Stuart is questioned. They still believe XRP is a security, ladies and gentlemen, at CoinDesk, and that's why they have been absolutely silent for 2 years on what's been happening to over 72,000 XRP holders in this space, because they don't believe it to this day. Listen.
So let's step back for a second, Stu. I guess the big question here is XRP itself. So how did Ripple get the XRP that it sold that is alleged to have been securities? Where did it come from initially?
Sure. So XRP was created by the code when the XRP ledger was kind of formed or invented or released. And that was all done prior to Ripple even being formed as the company. Once Ripple was formed as a company, a certain number of XRP was gifted to Ripple. So Ripple has XRP that sits on its balance sheet, and there's XRP that remained with the founders. But sitting here today, about 50% of all XRP is freely traded in the secondary market. And the total volume of XRP that is traded in the secondary market, Ripple's involvement in that trading is measured in basis points, meaning it's measured in less than 1%.
Where did it come from, though, in the sense of like, if these were gifted or XRP was formed at a certain date and then Ripple, the company, was formed after, who made the decision to gift all that XRP to Ripple?
The founders.
The founders of?
The founders of the XRP ledger gifted XRP to Ripple, or a portion of XRP.
Were any members who were gifting that to Ripple, the company, the same people as the founders of XRP?
This is staging. This is trying to bait someone right here. This is CoinDesk saying, now, we just don't agree. We've always believed XRP's been a security because of this fact.
There are, well, I'm not sure I follow that question.
Good for you.
So in other words, were they gifting from one entity to another controlled by the same people?
There was Chris Larsen was not a founder of the XRP ledger, but he was a founder of one of the founders of Ripple. And he was involved in terms of the original gifting. There was some XRP that was gifted to Ripple. There was some XRP that was gifted to Jed McCaleb. There was some XRP that was gifted to Chris Larsen. There was some XRP that was gifted to the third founder.
And none of those people were founders of XRP. You're saying that they're totally different. They were completely separate. The founders of XRP and the founders of Ripple.
Jed McCaleb was a founder of, or again, I use the word inventor. I'm sure that's the wrong word. I'm a lawyer. I'm not a coder. I'm not an engineer. But he was one of the developers of the XRP ledger. He was also one of the original founders of Ripple.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's the reason for 2 years that CoinDesk has turned a blind eye to a case that really represents so much for the entire digital asset space, because this jerk right here believes he's got it all figured out, but you don't. And the eye rolls and the looks and the smug looks on everybody here, we thought we had it right, but you know what? You don't have it right. And you're about to find out that you're on the wrong side of history, and you have been. Now, let's take a look at the technical analysis, because XRP's been screaming lately. We're going to look at a couple different TA people here. We're going to start with Eggrag Crypto, who showed us yesterday, in fact, that this right here, this 55-cent mark, is a key spot. If we can get above that 55-cent mark and hold it, upside, 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 they're saying. And guess who else is saying it? It's Crypto Bull 2020 is saying it as well. Shout out to you. Been 525 days long resistance around 55 cents. If we go back to 35 cents, if we don't get above 55 cents, just like Egg Crypto showed us as well, then we see Dark Defender show us the same exact thing, the road to $13. But obviously that 55 cent mark is going to be very key to be above that to talk that conversation any further. We see more support for $13 if we get above that 55 cent mark again. I mean, we're seeing a lot of agreement between all of these TA people, and I certainly appreciate their insights. And if we get above that, it looks like we could be witnessing the first leg or impulse of what could become the next bull run for XRP, shooting up to possibly $23 by November. Now, if we don't get above that 55 cent mark, it sounds like from what they're sharing with all of us that then it'll be a mute conversation, right? And we could be returning back to that 35 cent revisit support down on that lower side. But you know what? We're going to have to watch it play out and see what happens. Who knows what takes place, but this is the stuff we have to watch on today and see what happens going forward. That's going to do it for me. Hit the like and subscribe, leave a comment below. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice from me or anyone else, but you know what? It is my digital perspectives. I'll catch all of you on the next one.